Let Kutus know that we are the soldiers of God on earth, that he
Yo!
guided us in his anger.
Yo!
The veil is torn.
Nah!
Tears.
Nah! Alright. I completely...
Needed access to over 1 million left buried.
I completely forgot about this series. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was supposed to do this series. I completely forgot about it. Oopsies! I did an oopsie, guys. Alright? Also, this video is a bit late, but...
Fields of bones were left buried in silence. The butcher of Baghdad, Hulagu Khan, has left this land. His eye is fixed on Syria. The Sultan of Aleppo and Damascus, Al-Nasir Yusuf, has failed to go to Hulagu and the Mongols in submission. Mongol envoys now go to him with a warning. Destroy your fortresses and submit to the Great Khan in the east, or suffer his wrath. Some in the Sultan's court favor surrender, but the Sultan believes his cities can weather a siege.
Every single person thought, okay, look, I looked at this series, and every single person thought the same thing.
One commander called Baybars beseeches the Sultan to rally his armies to meet the Mongols in the field. His eyes silvered by a cataract, this hardened warrior from Egypt warns that walls will not avail against the Mongols. The Sultan disregards him, and so Baybars gathers his followers and leaves Syria to its doom. Death arrives in early 1260.
Oh, he knows. He's smart, man. He's smart, man. He knows.
The Mongols breached the walls of Aleppo within a week.
A week is crazy.
In the high citadel, the defenders are forced to
A week
of their people. The garrison holds out for weeks before surrendering. Another fortress in the region also relinquishes the fight, and it is written, "They came down under amnesty, but Hulagu Khan was extremely angry with them and ordered them killed at once, along with their wives and children."
Oh my god!
Has fled, and Damascus...
Dude, I always wondered to myself, did people not have a heart back then? Because yesterday, when I reacted to my Alexander the Great series and the women and children were getting massacred, bro, I always try to, like, picture myself, like, yo, imagine I'm a soldier, bro. I'm, like, watching all these people getting massacred. Like, bro, how could you not feel something towards that? How could you, like, not feel a certain way to, like, literally, like, bro, especially the way how they're dying too, literally, like, getting something, like, stabbed right through you, bro. How could you not, bro? How could you not feel that? Like, how could you, bro?
Mongol appointed administrators promptly established control over Syrian cities, thereby uprooting the last of the Ayyubid dynasty. Only a decade before, the Islamic Ayyubids had triumphed over the Crusaders in the ongoing war for the Holy Land, capturing and holding for ransom the French king Louis IX. Amidst the glow of victory, the Ayyubids were ousted.
Louis IX, wow.
Overthrown by their elite slave soldiers called the Mamluks, who in turn set about fighting amongst each other for power. Baybars, himself a distinguished Mamluk, had fled for his life as his rivals seized control. Now he returns to make peace with his nemesis, the Mamluk Sultan of Egypt, Kutus. If the winds of war are brewing on the horizon, Baybars will not flee again.
Ooh, what a gorgeous pasture. Look at that pasture, man.
Native to the western
that is gorgeous.
Of invaders.
Where is that?
Taking refuge in the Crimean Peninsula.
Oh,
attacked by a regional warlord.
Eastern Europe, around Russia, the Russia-Ukraine area, or is that like around like the steppe area? Right. Someone correct me.
Baybars was sold into slavery. In time, he was brought to Egypt, where he was sharpened, raised to fight as a Mamluk. The invaders who displaced his people so long ago were the Mongols.
Oh.
Envoys arrive in Cairo with a message from Hulagu Khan. From the King of Kings of East and West, the Supreme Khan, let Kutus know that we are the soldiers of God on earth, that he
Yo!
united us in his anger.
Yo!
The veil is torn.
Nah!
Tears.
Nah, bro. Ice cold. Ice cold, bro. That is just as hard as Timur. Yo, I'm getting Timur vibes, bro. Okay.
We've heard that we have purified the earth of the disorders which defiled it, and that we have slaughtered most of the inhabitants. It's up to you to flee. What land will offer you refuge? Which road can save you? Your prayers to God against us will not be heeded. Hurry to
Nah!
the flames of war are ignited, and its sparks are cast upon you. He advises Kutus to warn his people. Say to Egypt, Hulagu has come, with swords unsheathed and sharp. People will become humble. He will send their children to join the aged in death.
Dude.
University.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. He is giving it to him straight, man. What the heck?
Kutus has the 4 Mongol envoys publicly cut in half.
Oh! Huh? Nah. Nah. Yo, I swear I'm never ready. No, bro. What? Oh! Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm just not ready for that, bro.
Abzuela, the southern gate of Cairo, and the army rides out for war. Hulagu has moved to cooler pastures in the north with the main army, and the recent death of the Great Khan Möngke will further divert his attention from the front. He has left only around 10,000 Mongols in the region, under the command of his general, Kitbuka. Camped across Palestine, the land held holy by Jews, Christians, and Muslims, the Mongols have pillaged and made little effort to establish control. But word of the Mamluk advance reaches Kitbuka, and he rallies his warriors. Kutus and the Muslim Mamluk army meanwhile make camp outside the crusader city of Acre, avowed adversaries of Islam. Some Christians, Armenians, and more recently the ruler of Antioch and Tripoli have submitted and taken to fighting alongside their Mongol overlords.
Wow.
Kitbuka himself is a Christian, but the Franks here in Acre refuse to throw in their lot with the ruthless Mongols. The Crusaders send out supplies to the Mamluks, a stifled show of support.
That's right!
Bars has located the Mongol force not far from a spring called Ain Jalut. And as twilight gives way to dawn over the hills of southeastern Galilee, the Mamluk army beholds the Mongols.
Bro, how did they get these sound effects, bro? These sound effects, bro. I love it.
Troops, including Bedouins and Syrians. The core Mamluks are men who are sold as boys, raised in Islam, and relentlessly drilled to be professional warriors, adept in horse archery, clad in mail and lamellar armor, along with their horses.
Sounds similar to me like the Ottoman Janissaries. Not obviously, not exactly, but it does sound similar. Yeah.
Across the plain, Mongol heavy troops menace in elaborate armor, either native to Mongolia or pillaged along the warpath. Yet the standard Mongol warriors ride light, with little to no armor. They've known horsemanship, archery, and war since infancy.
I like his music.
Reserve horses grant them inexhaustible
I like his music.
ability on the battlefield.
This music is epic.
Blood is drawn by the Mongols. Heavy cavalry smashes into the Mamluk line, followed by a terrible burst of arrows. Mamluks fall all around. Kutus feels the fear in his men. He shouts for them to hold position, to fight for Islam, and to answer with a charge of their own. In the course of battle, an Ayyubid prince serving on the Mongol left deserts with his troops. The Mamluks likely swarm this open edge, and the Mongol horde becomes entrenched in a bloody melee. Warriors in the eye of the storm tear each other apart with swords, axes, and spears. Horse archers exchange kills on the edges, and at length, the Mongols begin to crumble. Some leap from their mounts for a last stand. General Kitbuka is overrun, and his head is taken as a trophy by Kutus. Baybars hunts the remaining fleeing Mongols and slaughters many in the hills.
Alright!
Mamluks find Mongols hiding in a field of reeds. They set the field on fire.
You know what? Well deserved. Well deserved. You're hiding really the audacity. So the Mongols, right? You want to go on slaughtering people. You want to slaughter people, right? And now when you get defeated, now you want to be now you want to hide. Man, they all deserve to be slaughtered like the sheep that they are. Honestly. Come on, man. Keep that energy, man.
Goes across the
That's literally what it is. Keep that energy, man. Keep that energy. Come on, man. At least go down for fight. Actually.
Mongol officials in Syria abandon conquered cities and the Mamluks overtake them. Qutuz then rides south to return to Egypt. He had deposed the previous sultan and taken the throne less than a year prior. Before then, his allies had slain the companions of Baybars. An account overseen by Baybars himself recounts the journey home. Baybars had already made arrangements with a small group of his followers. Riding beside Qutuz and talking with him, he suddenly seized his hand and his sword, and then drew back from him and struck at him.
Wow.
It was his death and removal as had been decreed by God. What Baybars did, he did himself. Touting his victory at Ain Jalut and his triumph over Qutuz, Baybars receives the support of Egyptian commanders and becomes the Sultan of Egypt. The distant Hulagu Khan does not think Ain Jalut a crushing defeat, but a prelude to vengeance. His master is untouched and eager for battle. Cities have grown between Hulagu and another Mongol prince to his north. Land have been further inflamed by Berka's prior conversion to Islam, desire to punish Hulagu for his massacre of Baghdad and its caliph.
Wait a minute. So he converted to Islam. Oh, yeah. Okay.
The empire has begun to fracture into distinct khanates. A Mongol civil war to establish a new Great Khan rages on in the east, and now war erupts between Hulagu and Berka. When Baybars learns of this, he shrewdly forges an alliance with the fellow Muslim Berka and his Golden Horde Khanate, whereby Berka permits the ongoing slave trade from his lands to Egypt, which serves as the lifeblood of the Mamluk army. Engaged on two fronts, Hulagu seeks his own allies. In a letter to King Louis IX of France, the Mongol prince boasts that he massacred Baghdad and Aleppo, and that he captured al-Nasir Yusuf, and suspicious of his loyalty, had the man's head stuck atop a gate in Tabriz. These attempts at European Mongol alliances survive Hulagu's death in 1265. His son Abaka succeeds him as head of this ill khanate. He marries the illegitimate daughter of the Byzantine Emperor Michael VIII, and later threatens Baybars, reminding the former slave, "You are a Mamluk who was bought in Siwas. How do you rebel against the kings of the earth?" And so when Lord...
Nah, bro. Personally, I would not let that slide. This level of disrespect, bro. Oh my gosh.
1271, Abaka answers his call for aid. He sends 10,000 Mongols to pillage Syria, yet Crusader-Mongol efforts toward alliance rarely amount to effective cooperation. Baybars emerges with his army to find the Mongols have already returned north. He clashes with the Crusaders and by some accounts sends a Nizari Ismaili assassin to kill the future King Edward. The agent stabs Edward, possibly with a poison dagger. Edward kills the assailant, but decides to abandon the crusade. Such are the means of survival.
Wow.
Christian
Wow.
Complicated by internecine divisions. The Mongol promise of revenge still looms, and in 1277, nearly 2 decades after the fateful battle at Ain Jalut, Baybars musters the Mamluk army and takes up his sword once more. The Sultan's visage betrays long years of war. The journey north feels more labored than it once did. Trekking through sand and mountains, the Mamluks stop to camp in the moonlit hills near Elbistan, Mongol territory. The Mongols gather in a nearby valley and inaugurate the day of battle with a vengeful onslaught. The Mamluk left cracks, men fall mangled by arrows. Baybars hastens to reinforce the flank and shouts for a counterattack.
Dog, watching this makes you want to play Mountain Blade. Mountain Blade. I haven't been playing much games recently, bro. But like watching this, I'm like, yo, I feel like playing Mount and Blade and just like doing a campaign where I just do like horse archers only. like kind of like a Mongol type of army.
The outnumbered Mongols cannot stem the Mamluk tide. The Mamluks cover them in blades and arrows. A tapestry of Mongol dead spreads thick over the whole plain. In the days following, the elation of victory is heightened by the Islamic holiday of Eid. But Baybars forbids his men to play celebratory drums, lamenting, "How can I rejoice? I had believed that if 10,000 horsemen of my army were to meet 30,000 Mongols, I would defeat them. But I met 7,000 Mongols with all my army. The Mongols aroused panic and my army lost heart. Without Allah's grace, they would have defeated us." Baybars dies later that year.
Oh wow.
Jalut represented a halt to the Mongol advance, but it had been the cunning Baybars who held the line thereafter and built a fearsome Mamluk army.
Oh wow, yeah.
Years after his death, a massive
gorgeous mountains
invades Syria and the Mamluks vanquish them. Notwithstanding one major defeat in 1299, the Mamluks continue to thwart further Mongol conquest in the region. The Mongols engaged many worthy opponents on the remote edges of their empire, including the Knights of Europe, Samurai of Japan, and the Mamluks of Egypt. But even costly offensives did not break the Mongol horde. The greatest enemies, the ultimate undoing of the Mongol Empire, are the Mongols themselves.
The Mongols themselves, and they probably would have conquered all the way up to Central Europe if they didn't fracture, frankly speaking. Like, there was nothing stopping the Mongols from, aside from themselves, obviously, from literally just conquering all the way up to Central Europe, you know? So, I don't really think they could have pushed all the way to the Iberian Peninsula, from Central Europe. I don't really know. Probably if they had conquered the Mamluks, they probably would have conquered North Africa, no doubt about that. Then they could push through Iberia through there, but it's really lucky. Like, Europe got really lucky that the Mongols only conquered the Rus. They only conquered the Rus, Eastern Europe only got the Mongol hit. But yeah, Europe got really, really lucky, you know? And it's interesting because, damn, imagine that time, like, because like the Mongols that broke apart, they all became like their own respective dynasties, right? Like, one became China, the other one became like Persia, right? Kind of like Persia, right? And the other one in the Middle East also became its own thing, right? If I'm not mistaken. And the Golden Horde kind of just, what did the Golden Horde kind of sort of become? I don't know. Again, educate me. You know, I don't know much about this stuff because, again, I don't really read books right now. Because I always say this, but my life is super volatile, so I just don't have the time to do this. The best I could do is just react to videos on this stuff and get educated from other people in my comments. So yeah, do educate me on that.
Civil wars draw the mighty armies ever more inward. The very avarice, brutality, and claims to power that built the empire turn the Khans against each other. The vision of unending conquest, dreamt by the long-dead Genghis Khan, fades. Years ago, in the midst of his civil war against Hulagu, Berka Khan wandered through cold heaps of Mongol dead and lamented, "Mongols are killed by Mongol swords. If we were united, then we would have conquered all of the world."
Well, facts. Literally facts.
The footage,
except for the Vietnamese. The Mongols couldn't conquer the Vietnamese. I think the Vietnamese and the Mamluks were like the only people that stopped the Mongols.
Mongolia you're looking at right now, and several clips in this video came from story blocks. Seriously, if you do anything...
Alright. You made it all the way to the end of the video. Alright. Like and subscribe. If you like my reactions, go check out my other reactions on my channel. Okay? Don't forget, if you got any suggestions, comment down below. And goodbye.